More than 300 violations at Ridgeland Farms. That's according to public records released today. Thanks for joining us at 10. I'm Mark McPherson.
And I'm Mackenzie Davis. Ridgeland Farms is a Blue Mounds dog breeder that's already under scrutiny.
WMTV's Shayna Najawan has been following this story for more than a year. Shayna, the facility has been ordered to pay tens of thousands of dollars in fines. What else did you learn?
Well, we just got the state inspection and court records today that date back to 2022. A state enforcement conference on those violations has been rescheduled, but the documents show just how serious the concerns are.
Court documents show Ridgeland Farms has admitted to 308 counts of mistreatment and 3 counts of neglecting health checks.
Public records has taken a long time to get, so we're grateful that we were able to get the records today.
Amy Van Artsen, an animal advocate with the Marty Project, says getting these records was a breakthrough.
And I think that really did open up to understand what's actually happening behind the scenes.
A judge ordered the farm to pay more than $55,000 in fines and fees. Inspectors say some dogs were left with untreated injuries, including one with a ruptured paw cyst, and others with wounds that went unnoticed for days. According to court documents, the farm also carried out surgeries on dogs without anesthesia or proper veterinary care.
And so I think that is just absurd to me that with 311 violations, and I mean these are serious violations of, cherry eye surgeries where dogs were not given proper anesthetic.
The Department of Agriculture told WMTV 15 News that it is committed to enforcing the law and will take appropriate action, but said it does not have the power to remove the dogs. That authority rests with local officials.
Like, what does it take at this point? What does it take for this license to be revoked? I just don't understand how many more violations would be needed.
The enforcement meeting on these violations was rescheduled from today, and it could bring even more penalties and possibly action against Ridgeland Farms' license. Live in the studio, Shayna Najawan, WMTV 15 News.
Shayna, thank you. And tomorrow, the Dane County Board will decide if the dog should be removed from the farm while multiple investigations continue. We'll keep you updated on that decision. So here's a recap of our past coverage on this story. In February of this year, a special prosecutor was appointed to investigate the breeding and research facility. That's because a judge determined there was probable cause that Ridgeland Farms violated several of Wisconsin's animal cruelty laws. At this point, the facility sent WMTV a statement denying all of those allegations and claims. Then last month, Dane County supervisors decided to step in. Resolution 119 was introduced with the intention to revoke their license and place their animals into protective custody, which they are voting on tomorrow. We'll continue to bring you the latest as we learn what happens.